Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily of inspiration, the juice. It is September the 11th, 2023, and today's topic is Rebirth 911. Now, listen, I'm just going to tell y'all what just happened. As I was getting ready to start this live, the word Rhema came into my heart and mind. I've been hearing this word, I don't know, since at least over the past year or so. I don't know exactly what it means. So I need to go and, I would tell you now, but I was turning on the devices, so I didn't have time to look it up. But if y'all are familiar with the word Rhema, then I don't know. Is this a Rhema word? I don't know. We're going to see. I might go deeper. Maybe after I get the recording and we do the after show, I'll look up Rhema and see if that's confirmation. I'm just saying the word came in my head as I was going live right now. So anywho, Rebirth 911. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. For those of you all that care, a quick recap over my weekend, man. Saturday was cool. Me and my little guy. We chilled, but then we got to work, y'all. I finally attacked my car for the most part. Got all the main areas vacuumed and got the car washed. We went over to the car wash. It was so funny as we was driving through it. I turned on the car wash song, that 70s song or whatever. And yeah, it was a cute little moment, me and NJ. And then afterwards, we went to Dairy Queen and everything like that. And yeah, so that's pretty much the main thing that happened on Saturday. Sunday was good. Well, I worked all three services. Came on back home and whatnot. And so yeah, that's pretty much. Oh well, actually, me and the little guy, we went to go eat lunch at this pizza joint that I've been wanting to take. Him and my husband too, because I enjoyed it when I went. I told you all about it last year when me and Alicia went there. Stoned Pizza in Stone Mountain, Georgia. So yeah, we went there and we had a little mother-son. I don't know if you want to consider it to be a date, but yeah, we had that time over the weekend and whatnot. And y'all may have been wondering where my husband was, XYZ. He was out of town. He was out of town, but that wasn't none of y'all's business. You know what I'm saying? He's back in town now, But yeah, he was out of town over the weekend and whatnot. So anywho, yeah, man. So that's what my weekend looked like in a nutshell. And so then I woke up this morning around 3:07, and I would say that that's where the inspiration came from. Because when I went to go read the verse, y'all, the verses that came up when I looked up 3:07 this morning, the one that really stood out was John 3:7, and it says, "Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again." So yeah, y'all, Rebirth 911. Actually, I would say the 911 came from the fact that it's September 11th. And I don't know if that means that this is super important, or whatever the case may be, but I felt led to title this conversation as Rebirth 911. Again, the word Rhema came into my heart and mind as I went live. So again, we're gonna look that up and see what that means and whatnot. But anywho, hopefully we all take heed today. Actually, the verse I just read is the only verse I felt led to write down. So that was quite interesting this morning as well. But I do have some quotes and things that were standing out to me as I was studying this morning. I ended up going to gotquestions.org and just kind of went deeper about this idea of rebirth and being born again and things like that. I mean, I think any believer at this point, you probably know already that, being born again is one of the staples of the Christian faith, right? I guess it's one of the main things. If you want to quote unquote be saved and things like that, you must be born again. I know a lot of people probably think about, the whole baptism aspect or whatnot. But what I'm receiving today is it's not just even that, right? It's not just the physically being dipped, but it's the spiritual rebirth that happens when you become a believer. At least it should happen. So yeah, let's go deeper, y'all. Let me share with you all what the Lord was pointing out to me this morning through my studies, and I hope that it encourages you and inspires you on your walk. So let's get into it. Like I said, I shared the only verse that I felt led to share. But if you guys look at the Go Deeper section, you'll notice that there's quite a few articles from gotquestions.org that are featured. So you guys can go there and start with those three. But there's plenty of others. Actually, there was another one that I ended up getting the last portion of this conversation from, but I didn't write it down. So what if you guys feel led, right? You guys can go deeper, obviously, on your own. You could always click the different articles that are associated with this conversation as you all go deeper and everything like that. But this is what was standing out to me to share. All right. So I believe it was in the first article, the one that was about what is new birth. This quote stood out to me as I was reading that article. It says, "It is the Holy Spirit's work in us that causes us to want to pursue godliness. If no such desires exist, then it is likely that no new birth has occurred." Ooh, now listen, I know that ain't, you know what I'm saying, a straight Bible verse, but I could totally see how that's, I guess, some juice this morning. I see how that's very important information to consider, right? When we're thinking about this whole being born again thing. Like, there's plenty of people that proclaim to be believers, but then they don't, I guess you don't see the fruit. I just put it like that. You don't see the fruit when it comes to their life. And so this is just something to think about. Like, at the end of the day, if you don't have the desire to pursue godliness, then, the truth may not be in you if you proclaim to be a believer, right? Because I mean, what the word is definitely going to do, and what it did for me was put that mirror in front of my face and showed me, the areas and things that I needed to work on, things I needed to change. And it's still doing that. And that's the thing. I mean, I share this with you guys all the time. Yes, I wrote this book, The Cultivation Period, A Single Christian's Journey. And yes, it's talking about my life up until a certain point, and it's talking all about my single journey and things like that, things I was learning along the way in preparation for marriage. But do y'all think that's the only growing season that I had and have? No. I think again, it's wise for us to realize that at the end of the day, until God takes us back home, or whatever the case may be, there's going to be constant growth, and we'll never reach a place of quote unquote arrival or being perfect. And so I guess that's the thing to consider at the end of the day, that the mirror is going to be constantly put in front of your face, and you're going to constantly see things that you need to improve and grow and do as a believer and things like that. And so, are you seeking godliness? I guess that's the first question. Are you seeking godliness? Like, again, we'll never be perfect, you know what I'm saying? And we are not Jesus the Christ, and that's why we need him and things of that nature. But are we doing our best to be like him, right? Are we doing our best to, again, live a godly life, righteousness and all of that? If that's not something that we're pursuing, again, then I guess this quote here says that there's no new birth that has occurred. And, again, that's just something to think about. And when approaching this, the interesting thing is this morning, obviously there's plenty of verses that talk about being born again and things like that. But like I said, I didn't feel led to just read those things to you guys again. Like, I mean, I feel like, well, one, I probably either read them over the years that we've been doing this whole journey of the juice, right? But again, I think these quotes and things that were standing out to me are, I guess, a little bit more thought-provoking than just the verse themselves. But by all means, go and do a deep dive and make sure that the Bible is telling us to be born again, right? Make sure that the Bible is telling us to, pursue godliness and things of that nature. If y'all can read the Bible and don't say, and don't get that same revelation, then, I mean, maybe this quote is wrong, but just from me thinking off the top of my head of things I've studied, I've seen plenty of verses that talks about being born again and the pursuit of righteousness, the pursuit of godliness, and things of that nature, and being like Christ and things of that nature, and dying to self and all that stuff. So, to me, there's no excuse to I guess live in sin, right? There's no excuse to pursue ungodliness. Because everything in the Bible points us towards the pursuit of godliness. So, anywho, let's keep going. Here's another quote that stood out to me. I believe it was in the second article that I read, which was the one about the key of growing as a new believer. Let me see, where is it? Oh, okay. That was here is the quote. It says, God changes our desires, outlook, and focus as we turn from self-worship to God worship. Now listen, that might be Pope, because we like to do what we want to do, and you might not look at that as self-worship, but technically that's what it is. We like to believe that we are our own gods, right, and things of that nature. And so again, to turn to God and start to worship God and things of that nature, you're going to see that there's going to be some differences, right, in what you again desire, your outlook and your focus, right? Again, back when I was, I guess, worshiping myself, my outlook was just, I mean, y'all already know my testimony, man. Do y'all? Don't you? I was about to say, I guess my pursuit, I guess, was sexual things. My pursuit was whatever self-gratification. What else was I pursuing back during the cultivation period, or, when my focus wasn't on the things of God, whatever it was that I desire, the acting career, even though I never did really focus on being famous or anything of that nature, but obviously, again, God has more, I believe, in store for me than just being a performer. And I think I was so focused on that and whatnot during that time and whatnot as well. And so again, now if I look at my life now, yeah, my desires have changed, right? Sure, there's things, again, I still want to do. I do want to use my gifts. I do want to travel. There's like all these different things. I know I had a time, actually, I took a look back at some videos I had done before, I became a mom and everything like that. And again, that still was a growing season and transitioning, because I was transitioning into being a wife and things like that. I ended up sharing on our page about, my concerns about, again, my husband and things like that. But see, as I pursue God, right, as I, walk the path that He's created for me, He's given me, grace and mercy and all of that for individuals and for situations and different things where it's like, I just basically, I'm saying that I can see how He has, changed my desires, changed my outlooks, and changed my focus. And here I am today, you know what I'm saying? And so I hope that you guys are encouraged and inspired by these things. I only got like maybe one more quote to share. And it came from, I think, the third article that I put in the Go Deeper section. And this quote says, Jesus did not come to reform excuse me, I want to make sure I say it right, to reform our sinful flesh. He came to kill it. Again, Jesus did not come to reform our sinful flesh. He came to kill it. Listen, that might be Pope, because we like our sin, right? We like the things we like. We want the things we want, and things like that. And hey, friend, I'm here to tell you, God will give you the desires of your heart when the desires of your heart align with His will and way and what He has for you. So, again, marriage was not a bad desire to have, right? But obviously the focus wasn't sex, you know what I mean? Which for me, I guess it was for a long time. Obviously the focus was to, pursue again his will and way, right? To be with someone that, encourages and inspires me, right? To be with someone that wouldn't take away from my relationship with God, but enhance it, things of that nature. Um, so again, that's just again another little sneak peek at me, right? And how God changed my desires and outlook and focus. But again, I hope that you guys are looking at these things in regards to yourself. At the end of the day, I know people are struggling with different things, and I definitely have seen these quotes that, people are like, oh, well, accept me, X, Y, and Z. I'm born this way, X, Y, and Z. People have all these quotes and things to say. I don't know, talking point, hot button topics, or whatever the case may be. But regardless of all of that, at the end of the day, yes, Jesus sat with sinners, but he didn't sit with them to, condone their sins. At the end of the day, he told, just about anybody I think he encountered to repent, to turn away from, whatever sins that they were in, to go and sin no more and things of that nature. And so again, if you're wondering if you truly have been reborn or born again and things of that nature, then, these are the things that we have to keep in our heart and mind and consider that, have you truly died to your sinful flesh? Again, like here I am just a few weeks ago, letting y'all know that, hey, the masturbation thing was still a, struggle or whatever the case may be. But I can gladly say, I mean, I haven't been keeping up with the exact time frame, but I can gladly say that I'm still, yet holding on to letting that part go. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, well, if that's what's keeping me, separate from my husband or whatever the case may be, then that part needs to die. Because, I need to, be walking in righteousness, right? I need to be pursuing godliness and things of that nature. And if that's not going to help or whatever the case may be, then I might need to, refrain. And I've been doing my best to do so. And I can't say that I haven't had a little temptations here and there. What I do now is just try to just let my husband know, like, hey, I got some little temptations right now, whatever the case may be. And then just try to again to deny myself, deny my flesh and things of that nature. And I believe that, God is honoring that. He's making me stronger in ways. He's allowing me to be able to share this testimony today, to hopefully encourage you and inspire you. And then he's giving me a little bit more patience in regards to, the whole situation. Like I'm not stressed about, the frequency of our sex life. I'm not stressed about, the situation when it comes to, looking at my husband a certain way because I'm not getting what I want when I want it. Like I'm not even, it's not even really a thought that much these days. And I thank God for that. And, he obviously has changed some things, because if you had to talk to me about, I don't know, about 4 years ago, I was all about just thinking about it and just dwelling on it and, feeling some way about it in the background and all of this type of stuff. And so, again, the pursuit of godliness, right, and true rebirth, right, will change your desires, outlook, and focus. And so, I did come across another article. I did not write the title of it, but basically it talks about these different tests that are in First John that you can use to test and see whether you have truly been born again. So you guys can kind of use these. I mean, you guys can go and peruse and make sure that these are saying what it's saying. I did not write the verses down either, but they're supposed to be in First John, these quote unquote tests. I just wrote down the test and the title of the test or like what they represent, but you guys can go deeper and seek the Lord about, all of this and make sure, right, that we are truly if we have truly been born again. And apparently, again, there's some urgency to this because, again, with this being on 9/11 that I received this conversation or this revelation or whatever the case may be. And also with the word Rhema, which we're going to look it up. We're going to look it up when we get done with this. At least the people that are listening or watching live, y'all are going to see me look this up if the Lord's will. But here's a list real quick. If y'all want to write it down, feel free. If you want to look it up, it's at gotquestions.org. One of those articles that is centered around this whole rebirth situation. You should be able to either look up John 1 test or something like that to get to it. But here's the list. It's 12 different tests to think about. The first one says, desiring fellowship with the people of God. If you are desiring fellowship with the people of God, then you may have been born again. Okay. Walking in the light rather in darkness. There you go. If you are walking more so in the light than darkness, then you may have been born again. 3, admitting and confessing sin. Listen, the first step to solve any problem is to admit it, right? So, there you go. If you're admitting and confessing your sin, then you might be, if not born again, on your way to be born again. 4, obeying God's word. Again, I know we all gotta, there's ups and downs of life and X, Y, and Z, but if you're doing your best to obey God's word, then you might be in alignment and you might be born again. 5, loving God more than the world. Y'all listen, that it might be a struggle. Again, we like the things of life, X, Y, and Z, but if you love God more than you love the world, then again, you might be born again. Habitually doing what is right. So it is a habit that you are doing what is right. If that's you, you're born again, friend. 7, maintaining a pure life. If you're doing your best to maintain a pure life, then there you go. Now number 8 says sinning less. I think that was very important this morning. It's not that you're never going to sin again, but if you are sinning less, then you on your way, friend, to being born again. 9, loving other Christians. I thought that was interesting as well. Y'all can go deeper because you think about loving everybody, right? But this specifically said loving other Christians, so that's something to think about. I mean, I know that might be even a struggle, right? Because we struggle loving one another and giving grace to one another and things of that nature. But it's right there on the list. That might be part of the test. So check it out, y'all. Then we got loving without hypocrisy. Loving without hypocrisy. So maybe that's love for everybody or just love in general. But if you're loving without hypocrisy, then hey, you might be on your way. And then last, but no, that's not last. We got another one. Keeping a clear conscience. So yeah, that's something to consider, on your way to be born again. And then number 12, which is the last one, experiencing victory in our Christian walk. So friends, if any of these things are resonating with you, or if you're like, man, I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that, then, maybe you're getting a more understanding of things that you can work towards when it comes to this whole rebirth situation. If you're there and you feel like you've arrived and you doing all these things, great. By all means, keep on going. And let's try to reach the next person, y'all. So, I mean, this is ultimately the juice this morning. Like I said, it's not verse heavy, but it's definitely biblical. You guys can look up these things on your own. Go to gotquestions.org. Check out the articles because they are, they have a plethora of verses that have been featured throughout all of those articles that I mentioned. The article that I did not mention, at least the title of it, again, you should be able to easily look it up if you guys go again to gotquestions.org and even just plug in 1 John test or something like that. It should come up. But anyway, this is the juice this morning, y'all. This is the juice. Very important. Rhema word, possibly. So there you go. Now listen, the Bible verse of today is Isaiah 41:13. It says, "For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto them, fear not, I will help thee." Friends, I hope you all enjoy this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Y'all, let's look up the word Rhema. Let's see what that word means. Let me just do this real quick. Let me save this. I could just save this real quick. Make sure I recorded it. Okay, it's recorded. I just got to save it on the other device. And then we're going to look up the word Rhema. Because like I said, it came into my heart and mind. Like, I clicked the live and I was listening to the little intro and then Rhema just came. I'm like, okay. I'm not even clear what that word means. I've heard it. I've heard it, but it's not that I'm out here just using it all the time. But so anyway, let me just go ahead and save this, and those that care, let's find out what the word Rhema means and go from there, y'all. But yeah, I mean, I hope y'all encouraged and inspired, man. You know, get born again, y'all. And it's a process, man, and it's an ongoing thing. Don't feel like, man, oh, I'm not there yet, and da da da. Da. Like at the end of the day, everybody's on their own path and their own timing and things of that nature. Now, there might be a sense of urgency, and things like that, but let the Lord, lead you and guide you on you and your journey regarding all of that. I think my recording is processing. So let me try to look up the word Rhema. Now I believe that it is spelled R-H-E. Okay, M-A. And then, so let's see what the meaning of Rhema is. So the Greek says utterance or things said. Let's look up biblical meanings. It says a divinely inspired impression upon your soul, a flash of thought or creative idea from God. So, let me look it up again just in case. Rhema meaning in the Bible. Now this is Wikipedia. But when I said Rhema meaning in the Bible, it says Rhema will be our general term to refer to all of these means of God communicating his specific will to an individual. Ooh. All right. Well, I mean, I guess this is the will of the Lord, and he, revealed it to yours truly this morning, so communicated it to yours truly this morning. So again, if you're listening to this, I mean, it's for you, I believe, and especially if you made it this far in the conversation. And so I guess you guys can see if the Lord is speaking to you today. Is this a rhema word for you? You guys can go deeper with all of that, but yep, I just wanted to go ahead and look it up, and make sure and things like that. But all right, y'all. Well, y'all have a wonderful Monday, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, the Lord's will. Bye.